Hello, and welcome to this week's Glasstire Top 5. It is the week of April 1st, 2021. I'm Christina Rees,
I'm Christopher Blay.
and we are counting down the top 5 art events in Texas this week.
Should we dive right in?
Let's do it.
Okay, number 5 on the list is Colleen Blackard, the Abandoned series, returning. She is born and raised in Texas, but lives in New York City right now, Brooklyn, I believe. And the work is a series of monotypes and drawings. They're sort of like disaster paintings. They're barns that you would typically see in the Texas landscape, either under threat of tornado or like in the middle of an ocean. But she talks about this idea of abandonment from childhood, emotional abandonment. So this becomes a metaphor for that, but it's also connected to, environmental issues. And it's at the Redbud Gallery, and it opens April 3rd. Number 4 on the list is Jalen Pigford, See What I See, and that's at the Preza House Gallery in San Antonio. Pigford is Houston based. He was born in Corpus Christi, and this is his second solo exhibition. He's shown a lot around Houston, been in a lot of group shows, etc. And his work, there are a lot of paintings of skulls, following that memento mori motif in history of art, putting his own sort of twist on the Day of the Dead tradition and talking about just, finding life even in death and celebrating life through these paintings.
So, number 3 on our list this week is Jennifer May Ryland at Lawndale here in Houston. Now, these are watercolors. They're very elaborate. There's a whole lot going on in these scenes. And the first time, she's from Houston originally, but she lives and works in New York City. And the first time I saw her work was a show in Houston in 2017 at Guerrero Projects, which is no longer open. But that was a very cool show. And those of us at Glasstire were like, that is a very cool show. It's nice to have her work back in Houston. There's much more of this kind of the personal pantheon of secular and religious saints and martyrs. She's lived a really varied life. She's lived in different places, different countries. She's bringing a lot of like bullfight imagery in, which she did before, which is extremely visually satisfying and interesting, but also saints and martyrs, and they're up through May 1st at Lawndale. So number 2 on our list this week is Celia Ebberly, new solo show at Chris Worley in Dallas. We tend to put her shows on the top 5 as she has a solo show up in Texas. She's one of our favorites. It's been a few years since she's had a solo show at Worley's Gallery. This one is called The Reanimation Project. One thing to know about Celia, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, is she comes up with a big idea, a big concept, often a pretty dark one about some of the darker aspects of civilization, and then she makes beautiful work about it. So there is something deceptive about her work. It tends to be really charming, really beautiful, and really dark. This is no exception. She's tackling artificial intelligence in this particular show. She's always going after the big stuff, environment, just the ways that civilization progresses in ways that we think this is good for humanity, but it tends to actually be incredibly awful. And she always has her finger on that pulse, and she makes us some really good work around it. So anyway, that opens this weekend, and we're excited.
And the number 1 show on the list is Silent Revolutions, Italian drawings from the 20th century at the Menil Drawing Institute. It's been up for a little while, but it closes on April 11th.
Yeah, that's right. And there's a symposium, an online symposium around this from the 7th to 9th, and you can register through their website. These are mostly from the Collezione Ramo in Milan. And it's, 20th century drawings. So you're going to have Boetti, De Chirico, Fontana, Canellas, a lot of familiar names. We have not just one, but really in some ways 2 features coming up about this show because our contributors have really responded well to it. So anyway, that's our number 1 show. There's just a little bit longer to see it. Again, the symposium's coming up, so check that out.